right, welcome to the 18th Croft graduation ceremony. My name is Will Shank, and I have the distinct privilege of serving as the Associate Director of the Croft Institute. As our graduates know, our Executive Director, Dr. Oliver Dinius, is unable to be present today for medical reasons. And his wife, Dr. Ibrahim, wrote me this morning saying he's on his way home from the hospital and is only missing the ceremony by a few hours. And he wanted me to tell you that he's very proud of you all, and he wishes you all the best. And I'm very happy to see our graduates' parents, grandparents, family, siblings, cousins, friends, and glad you're all here to celebrate them. Sometimes I think in 2018 I shouldn't have to say anything, but would you please silence your cell phones? And we won't be interrupted. So as I mentioned, this is the 18th class to graduate from the Croft Institute. And 18 may not seem like that significant of a number, but the Institute was actually in operation for 3 years before it had its first graduation ceremony. Because as you guys know, it takes a little while to finish all the requirements. And so that means that this year, going forward, is the 20th anniversary of the Croft Institute's founding. We'll officially celebrate this milestone next October, and I hope some of you will be able to come back and join us with the festivities. And so, to give you guys a little bit of perspective about how the Croft Institute has grown in those 20 years. At the first graduation ceremony, which was actually in this room, there were 5 students. 1 studied Europe and 4 Latin America. The first students to study East Asia wouldn't graduate until the next year. And the first students who studied in the Middle East actually graduated in May 2014, which is right before you guys joined our program. They had thematic concentrations back then. They were a little bit different. We had 1 global economics and business, we had 1 social cultural identity, and we had 1 who did what we call international governance. We hadn't added politics at that point. And they, too, did a concentration which no longer exists, which is international peace and security. Of those 5 graduates, 4 were from Mississippi and 1 was from California. Today, we have 34 students that we're celebrating, 32 of whom are sitting with us today. The other 2 officially finished their diplomas in August and December and have already moved on to the next phases of their lives. Here's the numbers for this year's class. You guys may not even know. 15 have studied Europe, 10 Latin America, 5 Middle East, and 4 East Asia. In terms of thematic concentrations, 13 international governance and politics, 12 global economics and business, 7 social and cultural identity, and 2 global health, which we just started last year. And so 16 of these graduates are from Mississippi, and 18 are from other states and other countries. And so our class of 2018 has fulfilled the vision that was at the founding of the Croft Institute, to bring together the best and the brightest in the state of Mississippi with other students from around the country and around the world. This is a class that has accomplished a lot and has continued to enhance the reputation of the Croft Institute as one of the premier programs on campus. The class includes 5 Taylor medalists, has inductees to the most prestigious honor societies, and members of Who's Who at Ole Miss. Just as importantly, the class includes students who have been leaders in community service, whether it's in student government, helping children, connecting with international students, visiting the nursing home, or speaking up for women's rights on campus. For this group of students, college was always about more than just class, even if you all kept your focus on academics and made it to this point. The graduation is often a time to think about the future, and parents of visiting high school students often ask us, what can you do with an international studies degree? Some of you parents may still be wondering that. Some of the graduates may also. And the answer that I always give the incoming freshmen or their parents is, whatever you want. And sometimes that's a little broad. So let me give you some concrete information in that area. Graduates, you'll discover how much you have learned during your time at Croft once you enter the workforce or graduate school, and you will discover how well you are equipped to study or work along graduates from universities all across the country and the world. Many of our graduates write back to us and say they're working with, they're in graduate school with students from the Ivy League, from other colleges, and say, I'm better prepared than they are. Now, just to give you a sense of what our graduates do. Many of our graduates work in careers you might expect, lawyers, government service, the intelligence community. There are also graduates who work in academia, consulting, language education, and for a wide variety of businesses and nonprofits. We have graduates who practice medicine, and some who've started working in public health, which is why we created the Global Health Concentration just a few years ago. But one thing I think is shared by all of our graduates, which is that the paths that they take always have some unexpected twists. You can see the stories of 6 of our alumni in an article that was just published as part of our 20th anniversary. And if you don't have them on your seats, they're available. You can pick them up on your way out. Let me tell you a little bit about them. One of the graduates, Chris Lamont, is actually an assistant professor of international relations in Tokyo, even though he studied abroad at Croft in Europe. We have a graduate, Daniel Booth, who is a worldwide account manager for FedEx, and his thematic concentration was international peace and security, not business. Susan Hedgeland graduated in 2009, completed the flagship program in Chinese, returned to China after graduation, and worked for several years for the American Chamber of Commerce in Shanghai. Now she's moved back to the United States and is a consultant for oncology research and development finance for Eli Lilly. We have students who've worked in politics. Cooper Reeves, class of 2010, has had a remarkable career and is currently the digital director for Senator John McCain. And Denius Polk, who graduated in 2011, studied abroad in Germany as an undergrad, returned there on a Fulbright after graduation, returned again with a special German Chancellor's Fellowship, and is dedicated to improving career training for young Mississippians based on what he learned in Germany. And one of your predecessors, whom most of you know, Elizabeth Romery, is taking the first steps of her career in the Peace Corps in Namibia. And so the stories of our alumni graduates should make you confident that you'll be able to find your path. And wherever that path takes you, and whatever you end up doing to make money, I know that you will have a rich and fulfilling life. Because some of the most important benefits of a Croft degree can't be measured in dollars. Your education is more than the knowledge you've accumulated and the skills you've acquired. It is also the experiences you've had, the perspectives you've gained, and the relationships you've formed. All of you have studied the history and the culture of other countries, and you all know that there is more than one way to see the world. All of you have had the experience of being a foreigner, just for a few months, and you all know what it is like to live in a place as an outsider. But you have also overcome the barriers that separate people. You have made friendships and built relationships in other languages. And you have connected with men and women whose stories can be at the same time so different from your own, but also so similar. I want you to take those experiences and those relationships with you when you leave here, and let them influence you for the rest of your lives. As you move on, I hope you will stay connected to the Croft Institute. I hope some of you can join us at our 20th anniversary next October, and I hope you will all stay in touch in the coming years. Your journeys as Croft students, as international studies majors, are just beginning, and I look forward to seeing where they take you. Now, graduates, you would not be ready to take those next steps without the help of numerous people, many of whom are present today. And I'm going to take a few minutes to recognize them. Now, first, of course, I want to thank someone who's not here, our Executive Director, Dr. Vinias. He's brought amazing energy and enthusiasm to the Institute, and his dedication to you, to our students, is an inspiration to us all. It is an honor to work with him, and we all are wishing him the best. Next, I would like to thank the trustees of the Croft Institute, whose generosity allowed the University of Mississippi to establish our institute in 1997. Since then, the Joseph C. Bancroft Charitable and Educational Fund has contributed close to $50 million to the Croft Institute, initially for the renovation of this beautiful pre-Civil War building, and then with generous annual gifts that provide for your student scholarships, faculty salaries, the operations budget of the Institute, and many of the other special things that we offer our students. The members of the board were unable to be with us today, but I'd like to thank them in their absence. I'd like to highlight Mr. Gerald Abdallah, the guiding spirit behind the Institute since its founding, and Mr. Tom Abdallah, the current chairman of the Croft Board, who both send their greetings. Please join me in thanking them for their extraordinary generosity, their commitment, and their ongoing support. Next, I would like to introduce you to the Croft faculty, who are seated to your right. It is difficult to overstate the contribution of these professors to the success of the Croft Institute. Not only do they give lectures, seminars, advise student theses, but they also give more time and energy to mentor our students and to guide them through their undergraduate careers and beyond. It is the faculty who make the Croft Institute what it is and who make it possible for your daughters and sons to achieve so much. As I introduce you, please stand, and audience, please hold your applause until I've named all the faculty. So, we have Dr. Joshua Howard in the Department of History and Croft Institute for International Studies. We have Dr. Kate Centeas from the Department of Sociology, Anthropology and Sociology in the Croft Institute. Dr. Sunglasala Gonzalez, History and the Honors College. And we have Dr. Bob Brown, Department of Political Science. Dr. Kate Gisbin, who is our former Executive Director, also from the Department of History. Dr. Gerard Busquets, from the Department of Mathematics. All of you know from Math 371. Dr. Fredoso Gonzalez, from the Department of Economics from the Croft Institute. Dr. Alice Cooper, from the Department of Political Science. Dr. Joshua First, from the Department of History and the Croft Institute. Dr. Ian Quinney, from the Department of Modern Languages. Dr. Dylan Goldblock, from the Department of Modern Languages. Dr. Valentina Yeppery, from the Department of Modern Languages. And Dr. Marcos Mendoza, from the Department of Anthropology and Sociology. Please join me in thanking our Next, I would like to thank the members of the Croft Institute staff who do all the daily work that makes the Institute thrive and provide such a welcoming environment for our students. We would not function on a day-to-day basis without our operations manager, Liz Duperior, manages the building and makes sure that all the big and little things are in place. She also manages our student workers, including many of you, and the student workers who are helping us here today. And I'd like to thank her especially for her work in the last couple of weeks, scheduling all the thesis defenses, all the OPIs, and the computer OPIs that we, for the first time, have had our sophomores take. We didn't realize how much work it would be to schedule them all. And so we could not keep things running without Liz. Thank you very much. I'd also like to thank Elizabeth Googe, our admissions coordinator, who has been working very hard to recruit the very best students from Mississippi and beyond to come study at Croft. Her work has paid off, and once again, we have a very impressive class ready to enter the Croft Institute in the fall. And Elizabeth has already started working with them to plan for orientation. The first orientation is only 2 weeks away. The circle of life continues. And we are very happy to have her. And also, I have to say, Liz and Elizabeth have worked extremely hard to make sure that today's ceremony has come together without any problems, and so that it would be a memorable event for you guys and for your guests. And to recognize their special efforts, we have a special gift for them, which Will has already given them. And so, congratulations. And since he's standing there, let me also thank our coordinator of Alumni Relations, Will Mahoney, who was sitting over there as a graduate just 1 year ago, and is the first person to serve in this position, which was created by Dr. Dinius. Will has done a great job gathering information about our alumni, connecting them to each other and to you, and helping you guys prepare for your careers. I know some of you have been in his office extensively and hopefully gotten some good advice. He has also stepped in and helped in many ways, especially in the last couple of weeks preparing for the ceremony, and he's become a valued member of our team. We wish him all the best as he starts the next phase of his career this summer. I would also like to mention Scotty Polston, our telecommunications analyst, who is responsible for installing, managing, and maintaining all of our classroom technology in our student computer lab. He stayed late last night to try to find something that would have allowed us to run our simulcast on the porch, but unfortunately we weren't able to do it. But I appreciate the effort and thank him very much. Finally, let me thank our student workers, the student workers who are graduating. Thank you. The underclass student workers who are helping us today, and the ceremony and all of our events and our operations throughout the year wouldn't be possible without them. So please join me once again in thanking the Croft staff and our student workers. Last but not least, this is also a moment for us, faculty, staff of the Croft Institute, and graduates, to thank you, the family, the friends of our graduates, for the support you've provided over the last 4 years. We have very high expectations for our students, and we have created a pretty demanding curriculum for them. And we know that it takes a lot of time and energy for them to succeed. For most of the students here today, we know there might have been, probably were, moments when it seemed like they weren't going to make it, and I know that the support of their family and friends was instrumental in getting them here. So graduates and faculty, please join me in thanking our family and friends.